Are you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, cool,
I'm
cool, cool.
ready.
Welcome, everybody. I'm super excited to have the author of Reclaiming Your Crown, Nefertiti Wade. How are you?
Hello. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
All
How are
right.
you?
I'm good. I'm good. We got a live audience. Audience, can we get some noise?
Woo!
All right. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Listen, let's jump right into it. I want to start off with what made you actually decide to write this book?
When, what made me decide to be able to write this book is because there were so many women that was battling with their own hurt, their own pain after divorce, and struggling to find out who they are. You know, when I got divorced, that's when I realized that I actually had lost my identity. Like, who's Nev? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, who's Nev? What? Like, I'm so used to myself and my ex-husband. It was just him and I all the time. But I had to actually figure out, what do I like? You know?
So I remember when we was working on this book together, one of the things was like, we know you as Miss Germaine. Right. Like that. And everybody, when they get married,
Right.
they're the Mrs.
Right.
whatever the other
Right.
person's name is. What was that battle or journey for you to reclaim the identity of who Nefertiti actually is?
Oh, just having the last name in itself, right? Jermaine. You know, I had that name, got married, had that name. And truth be told, I ended up was going to keep the name, right? And then all of a sudden, you know, had a conversation with my son, and my son kind of freed me and told me it was okay for me to go back to my maiden name. You know, he told me, "Mom, it's okay. You can go back. I'll still love you just the way you are. You know, you don't have to keep it." So this whole journey of just writing my book and so forth just showed me that it was okay to kind of actually let that name go.
Got you. Now, most people want to write a book, but never actually go ahead and do it.
Right.
You actually did it. Can you talk to us about some of them, the darker days in the writing process?
The darker days is more the days when you really have to actually, when you're sharing something that's as vulnerable as going through a divorce. It's not something you want to tell the world. It's not something you want to share with the world. It's very personal, and you really do put yourself in a place of vulnerability. And for me, it was moments where I realized I had to actually do a little bit more work as I'm writing this. I'm writing this book to heal and help other women heal. Like, I got to make sure I'm at that space where I could be able to set other people free. But it also, you know, grew me and had me kind of like questioning, okay, what are some things? Or how can I show this person? It really made me reflect a lot more on myself. And it actually grew me even more to be a better person through this author journey. It grew, that allowed me to go deeper. Definitely showed me other ways on how I could be able to support women in their journey to be able to find their purpose, find their identity. Like, there's purpose in your pain.
Purpose of it. Let me ask you this. What was the chapter that you wrote that made you smile the most?
Oh. The chapter that I wrote that made me smile the most, I want to say the chapter that I'm most proud of is actually allowing your purpose to push you in your pain. Yeah. That chapter, because that was actually the hardest chapter to write, because I actually had to go back and relive that moment. And also I had to embody that moment in order to really, for my reader to be able to actually feel exactly what I actually went through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that part, I don't know if it was more my proudest chapter, I guess.
Got it.
Is being able to, like, how do I articulate what this actually feels like? Like, I got to really demonstrate that, you know, and what aligns with that so much is the movie, The Pursuit of Happiness, you know. That's one thing I do share. Like, I'm in alignment where I was like, oh gosh, it's so similar to story, right? You know, I'm here following my purpose, and then here it is, you know, this is the time when my ex-husband told me he didn't want to be with me no more. You know, that was heartbreaking, especially when you've been with somebody for so long.
Yep. What would you tell somebody who's going through this right now?
Trust the process. Give yourself grace. Surround yourself with a village of people that can support you. Not one person can help you with this journey. There's different people that have to be, I guess, assigned to a specialty, so to speak, to help you through your journey. So, for example, I had my teachers. I was going to school I got my license to teach. So I had mentors who helped me in that area. You know, then I had a personal trainer to be able to help me with exercising, right? Then I had my church to help me with my faith base and my aunt. So don't put all that pressure on one person to kind of help you. You need to have different people pour into you, but be okay with being able to do that. So you have to allow yourself that you do have to trust again that to let people in to help you cross over, because you can't do it alone.
This is an interesting question. Have you ever seen those people who have like the parties to celebrate that they are divorced?
Yes.
What are your thoughts about that?
Oh, I don't think I can. For me, I don't think I can have that party of divorce, because to me, divorce is death.
Tell me about that. What do you mean by that?
So, for me, divorce is death, because I had to spiritually bury my husband. I no longer had.
She said spiritually, y'all. She didn't say she buried him for real. Go ahead.
I had to sit up here and spiritually bury my husband. Thank you for that disclaimer. I had to, because he was no longer going to be there. I was with this person for almost 20 years of my life, half of my life, right? And to say that you don't want to be with me anymore, and you know, we just had a son. That was a blow. That really was like taking a gun, putting it to my heart, and he shot me in the heart, right in my face, you know? So I didn't know who that person was anymore, right? So I had to really program, like, you won't be in my life no more. It's just me and my son. I got to ride this thing out and do what I got to do to make things happen.
Yeah.
You
Now,
know?
but here's the interesting thing, though. You've never talked bad about your ex-husband throughout this journey, and still to this day, you still have some level of respect for your child's father. Where does that level of grace and mercy come from?
Because at the end of the day, what happens between him and I is between him and I. It has nothing to do with our son. Our son already has to deal with the fact of us not being together and not having us in the same home. And his relationship with his father I should not interfere with that as his mom. No matter what hurt or what pain that I went through, he has nothing to do with it. So it is my responsibility as his mom to make sure that he still has a healthy relationship with his dad. Do my best, do my part at least, to the best of my ability to make that happen. If I was to talk poorly about his dad, it would cause him to resent his father. And then I'm blocking my son's blessings, right? And that's not fair. That's not fair to my son. You know, he didn't ask for this situation. He didn't ask for all of that.
Yeah.
You know, so the at least I can do is do my best is to create peace. I don't feel like his father is a bad person. I just feel like that the choice that he made at that time was hurtful. And it wasn't the right thing per se, but all things work together for the good, right? So that's how I look at it. I can't put that burden on my son. I want him to enjoy his life, enjoy his parents, and despite it all, that, like I said, that's still his father at the end of the day. I can't let him have resentment for what? I don't win. I lose.
Yeah. What is something that you would tell a divorced woman that is not like a popular opinion? Like, what's the advice that they don't want to hear, that they need to hear?
Address your own trauma. Yeah. Address your trauma. Because even in my book, which I put unaddressed baggage, is me addressing my trauma. Yes, in my book, I share that my ex-husband had left me for somebody else. Nevertheless, I had to see why I was attracted to him. And I had to face my own issues. Like, okay, this was painful, but okay, why did you attract this person anyway? Because you already had a warning sign. You know, this wasn't the first time, you know, he had an affair on me. This was the second time. So I was already warned. So why do I stay, right? So I needed to take a look at myself in the mirror and deep down inside, like, what is it about you that attracts a person as such or wants to hold on to a person? And that, I think that's the part many people don't want to face, is having to deal with their own broken wounds. They want to kind of project. It's harder the healing process seems so painful, but truth be told, you're going to have pain both ways. Yeah. So if you're going to have pain, get some fruit from it. You know what I mean?
In the book, you talk about one of the first people to forgive is yourself.
Yes.
Talk about why is that so important in the healing process.
Because forgiveness is love. That's part of love, loving yourself. Forgiving also allows you to be set free. You knew what you knew at the time to be able to be a wife. I didn't know all the things to be a wife. I grew up, I was brought up to know how to nurture and take care of children.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I learned about myself. But
Right.
no one never taught me how to be a wife. I didn't have that model of what it was. You know, my parents weren't married. You know, it was broken relationships that my family have endured themselves. So I did not have a model on what it looks like to actually have a wife or to have a strong marriage. I didn't have that model. It was based on what I knew.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But I did know that I was truly brought up to like, I could take care of kids with my eyes closed, you know? But when it came to being a wife, I did the best that I knew how with what I had.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So let's go back into the writing process for a little bit before we wrap up, and I'll just take a couple of questions from the audience. When you, what made you choose the actual title of the book? Like, it's Reclaiming Your Crown. What was the inspiration behind it? Was there another title that you was probably wrestling around with? Or how did you know that this was the name of your book?
So because of my faith, I sit up here 2016 is when I accepted Christ in my life. And I know I am the child of the Most High, of royalty. And during the time when I was married, I gave up that crown. I gave myself to my ex-husband, you know? And I had to find myself again. I had to take back what was mine.
Yeah.
What was mine. And God told me, shared with me, is in the book of Isaiah 61, that he would give me, you know, beauty for my ashes, right? And if I stay faithful, he's going to give me a crown for all it costs to get the crown.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I got it back because I know who I am and whose I am now. So now I'm in a space of like a freedom. I'm in a space of freedom. And choosing this is to just let women know that you are royalty. Go get your stuff back. You know, yeah, it dropped, but go get that thing back. Let's get the work and let's keep it on. Let's do the work and keep it on. Because we have a purpose, you know, we're driven, we have a purpose. And we can set up, we're going to make impact.
Now, I know a lot of people may be asking you what's next, or when does Neff go back into the scene of when you gonna get you your king? What's that process like?
That process is right now. I am open to being able to date someone, but it definitely have to be somebody that is God-fearing. But I have to see it in your walk. You're not just quoting scriptures to me. You have to really show your walk, a person of humility. A person who's walking in a purpose and want to be a legacy builder as myself. They don't have to do the same exact thing that I'm doing, but like you really have purpose. Because when you do that, then you're feeling fulfilled yourself, and you're doing work every day to be the best version of you. And that's really what it's all about for me. It's not somebody that's perfect or got to have all excellent, you know, everything. Because I'm not perfect. I have my days. I got my moody days. I'm a woman.
Yeah.
I go through hormonal changes, right? But you know, someone who sit up here someone who actually adores me, and I do the same.
Wow. Okay. Last question before we go to the audience. What is the thing that that next person is getting that your first relationship they have?
What is the next person getting? You getting good here though.
I'm trying to get my little Oprah on. You know?
No. I see what you're doing right now, right? The next person is getting a person who's healed, a woman who's walking in her purpose, a woman who is not afraid anymore, a woman who doesn't settle, a woman who is like a visionary. If I see it, we're gonna make it happen, you know? I guess I was always like that, but I want to say I'm putting more action to it. I'm not walking in fear. I may feel fearful about things, but I'm free. You getting a woman who no longer has to walk around and, you know, I'm going to use this as sit up here like a metaphor, so to speak, but it's Spanx in a bra. Like, I'm free, you know?
I got it.
You know what I mean?
I got it.
That makes sense,
I'm
right?
married.
Right.
I'm married. I get it. I get it. She said, listen, I'm at home.
Yes,
I'm at
exactly.
home.
Exactly. I'm free to be Neff. I don't have to put on a facade. Like if I have a bummy day, you still find me. You know, you see the beauty in me, and the beauty in me still shines out even in the midst of that too.
You know what's beautiful about that is that a queen is always a queen, whether the crown is on or not. And so that's so impactful that you've gotten to a place of identity where you could say to yourself that it's not performance, it's who I am, it's my person, it's it's my being, right? So let's take a question from the audience. Does anybody got any question they would like to ask? Yeah, yes, please, Karen.
Okay, I'm big on forgiveness, and in any situation that you go through, to experience any kind of healing, you have to forgive, and it starts with you.
Yes.
So I'm happy that you have forgiven yourself.
Thank you.
So I'm glad
Thank
you
you.
allow God to help you go through the process.
Thank you.
Got it. Yeah. So
one more cue. Next one, you can just pass them your mic.
got you. Okay. That makes sense. Who else got a question?
I can catch up with this, but the mic have to be passed.
Who else got a question? Anybody else got a question?
Hi.
Hello.
Melissa. Thank you for inviting me to this book launch. First of all, this was an eye opener, and I can definitely see that you're healed and you've done the work. And just hearing your perspective on, growing into yourself and finding yourself post divorce. So I guess my question would be, when your ex-husband at the time told you he no longer wanted to be with you, and you said that you had to bury the spirit of your ex-husband, what was the turning point where you said, this is what I need to do to reclaim my crown? I'm no longer shoveling, putting dirt on top of this spirit, but I am now above it and walking through it and persevering. So like, what was that moment in your life that yeah.
Got it. Good question.
The crossing point is, truth be told, when that happened, I still was fighting for my marriage. I had my friends, they was like, look, you get on your knees and you get to pray because that's your marriage, right? But it was one day, it's hard to explain this experience, but I kid you not, it was one day I was sitting in my rocking chair in my room, and God said, divorce. So at that time, when he said all that, we were still in separation mode. But God said divorce. I said, you don't like divorce. I got prayers all up on my prayer wall and everything. You don't like divorce. The next day, I kid you not, he served me papers. And then it was a moment, I was in my apartment by myself, and it's like spiritually, like I said, I can't explain it. It's like God's like, him or me, choose. Because I'm up here trying to fight and hold on to something, right? But then God's like, you need to choose. And I'm like, I choose you. So that means I had to really let go and sign the papers. I had to let go. And I think that's when I finally let go, is when I truly started to really embrace fully me. Because when I started teaching you, I started to see even a growth and a confidence in myself. It came out. And the more that, as I'm walking in what I'm called to do, my confidence in myself started growing. So it's just I guess a journey and a process. But once I really finally said surrendered, all right, God, I'm choosing you. He's no longer. It's like everything started to shift, if that makes sense.
That is good. Any other last questions? Yes. Pass the mic right behind you.
Hi, yes, Patricia. This was an eye opener because being a child from divorce from my family, from my father and my mom when they got divorced, I always want to know the perspective of the child, because at the end of the day, I remember as a child that I had a difficult time with my parents' divorce, and I was not listening. I was being rebellious and so forth. So I wanted to know the perspective of your son, like, how have you helped him through that process, where there was that you're just letting him know, like, it's okay, I didn't feel like I got that when I was, so I wanted to know that perspective.
So as I am a believer, and truth be told, my divorce actually made me a better mom, in all honesty, because I grew spiritually. And that allowed me to be able to not get caught up in like when my son had moments, but to slow down and actually really listen. Because he has feelings too. And it's for a very long time, he stated, he's like, Ma, why you and daddy not together? Why you and dad? I mean, I had to question. He would ask questions. I'm like, okay, I can't answer certain things that I try my best to answer because I know how sensitive the topic is. But I did share with him that we're not equally yoked. Your father and I are on two spiritual journeys. And when two people are on two different spiritual journeys, they're not going to, it's like oil and water. We're not going to mix. We're not going to ever mix. I said, however, know that you are a blessing and you're a miracle. Your father loves you and I love you too. But us being together is not going to work out. I understand that it hurts, but one day you'll be able to help somebody get through this yourself. So my son does battle with different things emotionally. So he does go to counseling in full transparency. He does. And then I just have a village of people who I can go to, especially even from just women, but also men, to help me process because I'm a woman and it's only but so much I can process for my son. I sometimes need a man's perspective on how to actually address his emotions because there's certain things I don't understand or I see he react and I'm like, all right, I need you to close your mouth because my son takes things very deep. So before I say something to hurt him that's going to stick, I shut up and I close my mouth. Because sometimes old school want to come out and you got to be mindful. So that's when that prayer coming out like, son, you want to take a moment over there. Let me go sit here and go pray about this for a moment. You calm down, and then we would sit down, and I would really let him. I give him safe space to say what he has to say, but it has to be in respect.
Yes.
Even if it hurts me, say it, because that's the only way you're going to be able to get out what you need to get out. But I'm thankful because of my faith walk that I created a healthy space that for my son to be able to express himself, and I just do it's an everyday journey. It's not a fix, so to speak, but like. Last week, in full transparency, he asked me, am I ready to date? He started taking notes on what kind of guy. I'm like, son. I said, we just finished praying to go to bed. He said, Mom, but what kind of guy you like? I said, oh, so he looked like he's moving on from the idea of his father not being together. So, I think it still hurts, and he still loves family, and deep down in his heart, that's his desire. But just on that conversation, looked like he's starting to make peace with the fact that we would no longer be. I hope that answers your question.
Dope. Man, this was amazing. Where can people go ahead and find more information about you, your doings, and what's next?
All right. So
what's next first? And then tell people where they can go and find out about you.
What's next? I would say right now, truly just embracing this author journey and growing in this space. I do feel like I have more books to birth, but in due time, right? In due time, that will come. But just enjoying this new journey, this new chapter, just being an author and just making an impact and a legacy, and looking forward to just people being blessed by it.
Got it. And then where can people get more information about where can they get the book? Where can they follow your doings?
So my book, to get an autographed copy of my book, is reclaimyourcrownbook.com. And you can get it on Amazon as well, but you won't be able to get it autographed. Then also Instagram, you can see at Neff Wade, Facebook, Nefertiti Wade, and LinkedIn, Nefertiti Wade as well. And then I do have a YouTube page, Reclaim Your Crown, YouTube page as well. So.
There you go. Guys, give a round of applause. Nefertiti.